joined in Washington, D.C. by Anthony St. Martin. Mr. St. Martin is an actor turned activist. Welcome to INN, Mr. St. Martin.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You're the head of Pledge to Impeach campaign. This is one of many groups we've seen around the country that are trying to impeach George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. What makes your campaign and your group different?
Well, the one thing that makes it different is one of the tactics. Because petitions have been essentially ineffective and demonstrations have been primarily ineffective, what we've done is we're going to introduce a petition supported by signed pledges of Americans saying that if Congress refuses the petition, that these Americans will participate in a national strike until they do accept the petition and impeach. So we're putting an ultimatum, actually looking to force Congress to represent the will of the people.
What has been the reaction to the petition so far that you've had?
From the public?
From the
public, it's overwhelming. When they hear the plan, they go, thank God. Essentially, that it's good to know that something's happening now where we can actually bring some pressure, bring some force, rather than simply requesting it.
And how are you getting people involved in this? Are you doing rallies? Are you doing this online? What are your strategies for getting people involved?
Sure. Well, for some time, I tried to get the larger organizations to take on the plan and the strategy. It wasn't until September 8th of 2006 that I determined that if this was going to be done, I was going to have to do it myself. So it started in September 8th, and we called a rally in Van Nuys, California. 31 people attended. Of the 31 people who attended, 30 people signed pledges. And prior to that, I'd been told that no one's going to sign this pledge. They were concerned about their living, they're concerned about their jobs, their families, and where my point of view was, that's exactly the reason why we have to take this action. The other side was saying, well, no, they're not going to chance that. Well, this 30 out of 31 proved to me that people were at the point they're willing to do that. That I should say that the 31st person was a citizen of France, and he couldn't. So essentially, we had unanimous sign-up.
Have you taken this petition to other rallies?
Yes, that was just the first rally. That encouragement drove me to go to Minneapolis with Impeach for Peace and World Can't Wait's rally they had there in Minneapolis on October 15th of last year. I gave a presentation, and I signed up over 200 people. If I'd had other volunteers there, we could have signed up 1,000. From there, I came down to Camp Democracy and in D.C. And funny thing is that when I went to the copy store to get copies of the pledges made, the man at the copy store wanted to sign a pledge. And I started finding just how much support there was for impeaching this president in Washington, D.C., a few blocks from the White House. So once I found that there was that much support for it, I essentially had to stop collecting pledges to take the time to set up a website, to get volunteers on board, because I knew I was going to need a lot of help. We just started actively collecting pledges again about 3-4 weeks ago. At this point, we're getting about 30 a day online. And that's online. That's not going out and tabling. That's just the word getting around. We have pledges right now from people in 47 out of the 50 states. It's widespread, and we're looking for it to go, as we say, viral. It has to go word of mouth, because we're really not getting any support anywhere else. This is absolutely...
We've seen impeachment being blocked in New Mexico. We hear the Democrats are trying to block it in Washington State and also in Vermont. Are some of the other pro-impeachment groups, impeachpact.org or Progressive Democrats of America, Democrats.com, there are so many others. Have any of them agreed to join you at this time?
They really haven't. They think that what I'm talking about is too difficult. That's what I've been told. That it would be just too extremely difficult to organize this many people to make a credible threat of a national strike. I mean, I have to acknowledge that, yes, you look at it, it looks difficult. But it's a lot easier now than it was September 8th. And it'll continue to get easier the more the word gets around. I'm going to come back with a report on what I found here when I came to D.C. I had 5 meetings, well, 4 so far. I have one in about a half an hour with another member of Congress, with Mr. Danny Davis of Chicago. I met with 4 other members of Congress, and I'm going to report response I got from them. I had a chance meeting with John Conyers in the hallway. I'm going to report what I got from him, and I guarantee you, when people see that report, they're going to be even more motivated to get pledges signed, because we really don't have representation in Congress, at least not on this issue.
What kind of a response did you get from Congressman Conyers?
Well, rather than characterize it, I'll tell you what happened. I was at the elevators. I looked, and I thought I recognized him. As always, people look a little smaller in life than they do on camera. And before I had a chance to ask, he said, "Conyers." And I said, "Oh, well, pleasure to run into you, sir." I said, "I would like to speak to you for a moment." We went into the elevator. I said, "My name's Anthony St. Martin. I'm with," and I went to hand him some of the pamphlets that I was handing to members of Congress. And when he saw it, he says, "Oh, I have this." He had gotten it because I dropped one off to his office earlier. And he said, "You're with impeachment." By the time the elevator opens, we walk out, and he says, "Well, you know, you can't impeach unless the people want it." And I said, "Well, they do want it. I know as I've traveled around, a huge majority of people want it." And I said, "And I want to work with you. I'll work out in," and that's as far as I got. We got to his office, and one of his assistants walks out of the office, and he says to her, he says, "This is Mr. St. Martin. He is leading a national campaign for impeachment. And you know who he wants to impeach? The President of the United States." And then he walked into his office and closed the door. And I was a little bit left speechless. And maybe I'm misinterpreting what the man was doing, but I thought he was somewhat mocking my efforts.
Anthony St. Martin, were any of the representatives that you met with today more positive than Congressman Conyers?
Yes, the most positive I would say was Peter Welch of Vermont. We were conversant, not with the representative, but with his staff member, who acknowledged that, the massive support for impeachment in the state, and that Congressman Welch was sensitive to that, and was, though he was not going to spearhead the movement on his own, that he was very cognizant of it, and that's pretty much where they left it. But he acknowledged that there was a lot of support for that within his state, and that he is certainly aware that he needs to represent his constituency. So that I found was maybe a spark of light there in the cloud.
We also cannot endorse impeachment on this television show, but we can allow you to give your website if people want to find out more about what you're up to.
Well, I appreciate that, because I know what's going to happen. People who are going to see this, I'm going to get a lot more pledges, and I'm going to have to get a hold of the people that have my website and say, we're going to have to expand our capacity.
Tell us the website.
Oh, you want me to tell you? Oh, yes, pledgetoimpeach.org. And that's it. Go there. You can read the plan, and I advise people to read the plan, read the pledge, so you know what you're signing. It's not a petition. The petition is a very simple document that I will be coming back to D.C. on May 1st, and I told those people today I'm going to bring up the citizens' petition for impeachment backed by the pledges. What I'm asking people to do is sign the pledge in support of the petition, saying that if Congress refuses this petition to impeach this president, then they will participate in a national strike. Now, the thing is, Congress is going to get two chances to pass that, to accept that petition and begin impeachment. They're going to get two shots at it. Okay, it's only till after they've refused to do it twice that we will call the strike. I should add that the strike is not the emphasis. It's a credible threat of the strike. That we have enough pledges that we can realistically say, I've got enough people that are going to stay home, so that we will impact this country. We will shut this country down. That, I believe in my heart, is as dramatic as that sounds, those are the lengths we're going to have to go to in order to stop this agenda that's now dominating our federal government.
Anthony St. Martin, thank you for joining us in the INN World Report.
Well, thank you very much for having me on.
Very good.